A full 22 years. Arsenal waited 22 years for this trophy. A longing so deep that kids finished school without ever seeing a title. The year is 2025. Your transfer is done, the shirt is on your back, and microphones are being thrust in your face. There's only one question. Will this be the year? The team kept throwing away the title in the final weeks. You feared the worst. What if it happens again? But it didn't. This time you held on. This is Arsenal's championship story, from the inside, through your eyes. You had complete faith in your manager Arteta. Actually, the fans didn't believe in him much at first, because he was a former assistant of your biggest rival Guardiola, and he was seen as someone who would never amount to anything. Yet Arteta had won the FA Cup for a team that hadn't lifted a trophy in years, in his very first season, and over time he had gradually settled the team into place. So what did you think about Arteta when you first arrived? When 2025 arrived, the management set aside a transfer budget of 250 million tons to complete the manager's vision, because your team had been missing a number 9 for years. And that's where you entered the picture, Viktor Gyokeres. After a magnificent season in Lisbon, you were finally here, in the place you called home. Everyone had their hopes pinned on you. In your first interview, you said your goal was to break the dominance Guardiola had maintained for so long. Arteta had changed the team's culture before the season even started. He had set strict rules for you and your teammates. Respect, dedication, and passion were indispensable principles for him. These rules applied even to the biggest stars. So much so that he had dropped Ozil, who had previously been the highest earner, from the squad, and had dropped captain Aubameyang from the squad, and sent him away from the team for being late to training. During the transfer season, names like Martin Zubamendi and Eberechi also became your new teammates. As a result of the transfers, the team now had a large squad capable of handling the stress of a championship. And the team would showcase the quality of this squad in the best way possible in the 5th week of the league. The opponent was Manchester City. You started in the first 11. Your coach had included you in the 11 by trusting your physical strength and legendary finishing. When the match started, City took the lead with Haaland's early goal. The sadness on your face explained everything. You needed to score and lead the team to victory. At that moment, unexpectedly, Guardiola switched to a 5-man defense and tried to protect the score. However, in the final minutes, your teammate Martinelli scored a beautiful goal in a position set up by Easy, and you left the match with 1 point. What was gained was not just 1 point. It was a psychological blow dealt to City. Just 1 week later, there was a match that frightened you, an away game at Newcastle United. For years, you had been suffering defeats and dropping points against this team. You thought it would be the same again because Newcastle finished the first half 1-0 ahead. You equalized in the 83rd minute, but there was still nothing settled. In the 90+5th minute, when you thought it would be another dropped point, Mikel scored after Martinelli's corner kick. You were absolutely losing your mind. Not just you, but all of your teammates. This last-minute victory brought you much closer to the top. Now even the training sessions felt like a derby. Your coach Arteta was gathering the team together and telling you that he believed in you. As time passed like this, you delivered a good performance in the league. By the time autumn came, you had truly turned into a machine. But your performance had dropped a little, and you had started to be unable to score. Yet even your bad form was enough to get the job done. So much so that you took the stage in the match where your team beat Atletico Madrid in the Champions League group stage. Twice, in fact. A header goal, and a goal that could be considered a bit lucky. At that moment, all the fans were going crazy. You were displaying that iconic celebration by making a mask with your hands over your face. Perhaps years later, this celebration would become as iconic as those of Suarez and Lewandowski. Anyway, during the autumn months, you had taken 10 consecutive victories and had not conceded a single goal in 8 matches. But I have bad news for you. The last match of this clean sheet run was against Burnley. In the 14th minute of the match, you put your team ahead with a header from a set piece. But of course, that is not the bad news. In the middle of the first half, you suddenly sat down on the ground. There was an incredible pain in your leg. You were immediately taken off the pitch. You were someone who was not used to injuries, so the fans were worried. Due to this injury, you would miss 4 matches. Meanwhile, your coach was literally rewriting the book on Harambol. So, what do you think about Arsenal's closed and pragmatic football? Because a large portion of the fans argued that the flowing, poetic football of the Arsene Wenger era was far better. Moreover, this Harambol style had caused harsh criticism to be directed at you. There was a great polarization on social media. Some said the hatred towards your team stemmed entirely from Harambol's defensive structure, while others claimed the real reason was your team playing for the title again after years, striking fear into their rivals. By the way, during that period there were also fundamental changes in your team, not only on the pitch but also in the academy led by Saka. Now in the academy, importance was given not only to your on-pitch performance, but also to your character development and mental strength. Furthermore, your coach was also giving you special attention and was telling you that you would become a legendary striker years later. Your team was officially being renewed from scratch. When the league reached the 12th week, you were injured, but this did not affect your team much. Your teammate Eze scored the first hat-trick of his career against Tottenham, and your team gained a historic advantage. After this match, I noticed something. Your team had officially become a set-piece goal-scoring machine. Your set-piece coach Nicholas Jover was doing his job in the best way possible. Jover had turned corners into a mathematical formula. Your teammates Saliba and Gabriel were becoming absolute giants in the penalty area. You returned to the pitch with the Chelsea match, and the game ended in a draw. However, your failure to convert a clear chance you found in the final minutes caused people to worry about you. In the following matches, constantly starting as a substitute and moving clumsily on the pitch were signs of this. So much so that in the match where you lost 2-1 to Aston Villa, the only thing you could do was watch your team and feel sorrow. You had finished the first half of the league, and to make a general analysis of the squad, one of your most key teammates was Zubimendi. Before he arrived, your team was making too many mistakes while building from the back. Opponents were easily pressing them. When Zubimendi arrived, this completely changed. Now opponents were no longer winning the ball in your team's own half. Perhaps nobody noticed, but this was one of your team's finest transfers. Furthermore, your teammates David Raya, Saliba, Gabriel, Rice and Zubimendi had already stayed on the pitch for 2,000 minutes in the first half of the league alone. This meant exactly 22 matches. In Manchester City, there was only one player at this level, and that was Haaland. Speaking of City, 2026 was not going well for them at all. In the first 4 matches of the new year, they had not managed to win a single game. You had probably been watching those matches with that facial expression of yours. But at that time you also experienced a few point losses. However, the points gap was still 7. When April arrived, the gap had dropped to 6 points. Before the big derby, City was officially waiting for their prey with 1 game in hand, and that prey was you. You and your team were very consistent. You had officially switched on championship mode. Before the match, you were motivating your team and acting like a captain. Before the City match, you faced Bournemouth. In this match, you scored a goal from the penalty spot. Afterwards, you scored another goal, but it was disallowed for offside. The score of the match was a complete nightmare for you. You know your team, they always make mistakes in critical weeks, and that is exactly what you did in this match, losing 2-1. Your rival Guardiola had this time lit the championship torches. If they beat you, the points gap would close, and they could even become leaders on goal difference. And finally that day came. Without a doubt, this match was the championship match for most people. You were away from home. The whole team was stressed. Despite all your experience, your legs were literally trembling. The match started excitingly, but unfortunately in the 15th minute, Shirky scored, and you fell behind. Just as you were feeling down, in other words, 2 minutes later, you equalized with Havertz's goal. The match went like this until the final minutes and ended in a draw. Well, at least that is what I would like to say, but that is not what happened. In the 90th minute, City won in the final minutes with Haaland's goal. At that moment, you threw yourself to the ground. For you, and even for the fans, at that moment the entire season was over. 22 years of longing had now become 23 for you. Everyone thought this way, except for one person, Arteta. Your coach, knowing the pace of the Premier League, never gave up on his plan from that very first day. After that defeat, Arteta started to rest you. He took responsibility. The season was truly beginning now. In the following weeks, you won a critical Burnley match. Now the points were equal. The only thing you needed to do was win and wait for City to drop points. And that is exactly what happened. On May 19th, City drew with Bournemouth. At that moment, everyone was astonished. With 1 week left until the end of the league, you had officially declared your championship. This time it was not you but your rival Guardiola who made the mistake in the final weeks. Finally, that moment had arrived. The trophy was in your hands. You had been waiting for this moment for exactly 22 years. Young and old, everyone was literally going crazy. One man had come and officially broken years of being losers. In the Champions League, however, the situation was very different. You were in the final with a dominant performance. Your opponent Paris was a very good team. Even if you lost this final, you had undoubtedly lived a legendary season. See you in the next video.